Welcome to another episode of Issues and Insights. I'm Bryce Shoemate from Hardin County Government, and today we've got two great guests with us that we're going to talk a little bit and ask for your all's help today with our guest here. And so I've got Jody Thompson from WQXE, no, The Wolf, I'm sorry, yeah, WLF, okay. And also Chris Denham, and he's with the Elizabethtown Police Department. So welcome to our show today.
Thanks for having us. Guys,
we are all on the board of Hardin County CrimeStoppers, and today we want to talk to the businesses out there and anybody else because Hardin County CrimeStoppers is looking to start soliciting funds to support our board, not so much our board, but support CrimeStoppers so that we can help solve many of the crimes that occur not just in Elizabethtown but all across the Hardin County area. And so with that, Chris, I want to go to you first because when we started talking about this show, we wanted to make sure that people understood that Elizabethtown Police Department and Hardin County CrimeStoppers are two separate agencies.
Absolutely. Two completely separate entities. Hardin County CrimeStoppers has been around for going on 30 years now, and it is a separate entity, and it allows for tipsters to provide information to law enforcement without their identities being known to law enforcement. They can call in to Hardin County CrimeStoppers at 1-800-597-8123, or they can visit p3tips.com. Maybe you can put that number at the bottom of the screen.
And we will. We'll put that number at the bottom of the screen, and also that
p3tips.com.
Okay.
But it allows for folks to have...
I really missed that, didn't I?
No. P2, you're only one digit off.
Yeah,
right?
I have.
p3tips.com or 1-800-597-8123. But it allows anyone within Hardin County who has information on a crime that's taking place to relay that information to law enforcement, again, without their identity ever being known. If they call that phone number that we provided, a call taker answers the phone, takes their tip, and provides them with a case number. And if their tip materializes and assists investigators with solving a case, then the tipster is eligible for a cash reward. And they have to periodically follow up because, again, they're totally anonymous. There's no way for CrimeStoppers to reach back out to that tipster. But if they follow up and follow the processes that's shared with them by the call taker, they'll be eligible for a cash reward of up to $1,000, depending on the circumstances surrounding the case. And if they are paid a payout, they will have the opportunity to go to a local financial institution at a time that they deem appropriate and tell them what they're there for, and all they'll have to say is they're there for a certain envelope number, and that will be given to them through a drive-through, and away they go. And again, Jody, the president of CrimeStoppers, has no idea whom that person is. We don't know who they are. Again, they're totally anonymous. All we know them as is a tip number.
Unless they want you to know.
Sure.
Who they are.
If they wish to testify and assist even further, then they're willing to do that, but they are not obligated in any way.
But we also want people to know, Jody, that Hardin County CrimeStoppers works with all of our law enforcement agencies throughout the county.
Yes, it's not. And I think that's a misconception, a couple of misconceptions. One, that it's a police thing. It's not. I mean, Chris is one of our liaisons, but we have other ones from other departments, and it's for the whole county, and we get various tips from different ones, and it's just such a useful tool that, that a person knows something going on, but they just can't go tell on them or whatever in that regard. Calling in and to the number or using the P3 tips, it's a game changer, especially the new P3 tips. We've only been using that about a year now.
About a year.
And with that, you're logging in and you'll get your case number and stuff like that, but it's your responsibility to follow back and follow up on it. And if something comes out of it, like Chris said, you'll get money out of it. But it's for the whole county. I
mean, there's 6 law enforcement agencies in the county, and all are represented, have a liaison that attends the meetings, et cetera. And, speaking on behalf of law enforcement, I'll speak countywide. Our most valuable asset are the people we serve. Unfortunately, we have limited resources like everyone else. We can't place an officer on every corner at every street to see everything going on, so we rely heavily on the citizens of this community and communities around Hardin County to assist us with our investigations. And without them, we would not be nearly as successful as we are as a county.
And you said it had been around 30 years because Tim Cleary and I were actually on the first board as law enforcement representatives from both Radcliffe and Elizabethtown. And so this has been going on, and it goes back to say, you know, this is not just an Elizabethtown Police Department affiliation. It is affiliated with all law enforcement agencies throughout our county.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in West Point, or if you live in Upton or far eastern Hardin County, or far west, White Mills, wherever, if you have information about any crime taking place, it does not have to be a crime that law enforcement's already aware of. It could be a theft ring that you come across,
Right.
and you want to share that with law enforcement without your information being known. You have the ability to do that. And again, if your tip materializes, you're eligible for a cash reward of up to $1,000.
Jody, let's talk a little bit where your funding comes from.
Well, our funding, we get some stuff from the
Court fees.
From court fees. We get
district court.
a piece of that. And then, of course, this last year, a lot of the funding that we have received through that, it just hasn't happened because of the pandemic.
Right.
And
the courts shut down.
courts have
somewhat.
shut down and
Somewhat.
Right.
And so that's a portion of it. And then we're looking to do some more fundraising this year because the money that we have will only go so far. I came into it this last year, and there is some budget or some money that has been in there throughout the years. I'm not sure previous years what exactly they had done for raising money, but this is something for the whole county, and everybody. Just being able to be a part of it can help us help the law enforcement stop crime and things that they don't, like you said, that they may not know about. And so we need funding to make it happen because of the payouts.
And
that come along with it.
100% of CrimeStoppers funds stays in Hardin County. It's used either for marketing of CrimeStoppers or to pay tipsters. So 100% of that stays. And if folks that they always say, well, how can I help Hardin County law enforcement? And there's a lot of these organizations that solicit, and you don't know where your money stays. 100% of this stays in Hardin County.
Right. I know all these robocalls, and some of them are, once you pick up, is actually a person, where there's all these people that are saying they're representing different police agencies that, like you said, you don't know where that money goes.
Right, you don't know.
And this money stays right here in Hardin County. Jody, you all are looking for as corporate sponsors.
Yes, we're hoping that we can reach out and have corporate sponsors that would contribute whatever they feel that they could do to help out with CrimeStoppers, because the crimes can happen at your business.
Well, and that's one thing I want to follow up. That's a good segue and a question that I want to ask Chris. But for you all that are watching right now, you folks that own businesses, many of the tips that come into Hardin County CrimeStoppers solve crimes that occur in your all's businesses. So, I mean, this is a way to, I don't want to say help yourself, but it is a way to help yourself, because for a small amount of money, you could either do it yearly or you could do it monthly, however you wanted to donate to Hardin County CrimeStoppers. Actually is a very crime preventative amount of money that you could help with. And Chris, I want to talk about that. A lot of these businesses that have either been robbed, broken into throughout the years, and a lot of people mistake burglaries as call them robberies.
Sure.
And they're not a true robbery, but the burglaries and robberies that happen and so on that we see at a lot of the businesses, many of the tips that you get to solve those crimes come from
Hardin County CrimeStoppers. I mean, it absolutely is a proactive measure, by businesses and citizens alike. It's an insurance policy. Again, it's just another way to fund a resource to assist us. And this in the past year, we have had tips that come in and assist from anywhere between petty theft, wanted folks, all the way up to robberies and homicides. And I know a Radcliffe homicide was solved in 2020 based on a CrimeStoppers tip.
Yes.
Chris, tell our folks that are watching right now, you all, and when I say you all, I'm talking about law enforcement agencies, if you have cases that you want CrimeStoppers to share or talk about or to put out there so you can hopefully get some tips in on, how does that work? You all present that somehow?
Yeah, so that's another great thing. I mean, we have a great partnership with the local radio stations, Quixie and the Wolf. They've been great friends of Hardin County CrimeStoppers, and I'm kind of I guess the law enforcement spokesman for the CrimeStoppers organization. And so they feature a weekly segment on both Quixie and the Wolf and give us.
He does look good.
He does. He looks
on the
great
radio,
on the
I
radio.
look
Looks
great.
great.
So we're able to go on the radio weekly and talk about, it may be a specific case, it may be talking about just the organization, but they're just a great partner, and they donate that. So you're talking about in terms of donations. I mean, Quixie and the Wolf, they give that to Hardin County CrimeStoppers, and they believe in it, and again, they see how valuable of an asset it is.
And we've had a lot of them from putting it out on social media and with the radio stuff. I mean, Chris has had to come back in, quicker than we would expect sometimes to change out because, they had been apprehended
That's
on
right.
some of the.
And let's talk about that social media. Of course, back when I started in the dark ages, you didn't even hardly have computers, much less social media. So how does that, with CrimeStoppers, how does that aid you all, Chris, in getting your information out?
Well, again, I mean, that's puts information at the fingertips of thousands of people instantly. So that's another great tool that we utilize both on the CrimeStoppers side and on the Elizabethtown Police Department side in reaching folks. And it doesn't have to be something negative, but something else we didn't talk about. We keep talking about crimes and CrimeStoppers, but there's also things like missing persons cases, missing runaway juveniles. We can assist with those as well, and those are very delicate. And
status offenses just because of age.
Time is absolutely the essence in those types of investigations, like any other. So it's just a valuable resource.
We see weekly. I monitor the Facebook, and you see weekly people more and more liking the page every week, and then also the P3 tips. There's just so many that come through.
So Hardin County CrimeStoppers has a Facebook page
It
itself?
does.
Yes.
And you all at Elizabethtown Police Department have a Facebook page you put a lot of information out.
We do. John does most of the Facebook stuff. He has developed a big following, and that's a good resource for people just wanting to know what's going on. Not just police or law enforcement related, but what's going on in the community. I mean, we share a lot of information on that page.
And folks, he's talking about John Thomas from E-Town Police Department.
And I want to be clear that's very seldom that I'll give John Thomas any props at all, but.
He is great.
I have
with
to give
Facebook.
credit where credit is due.
Yeah, and
if he has one thing he's good at, that's social media.
You got me cracking up there.
I know.
I was almost speechless there for a minute. And that's
That's
rare
hard to
for
do.
me.
I've never known that to happen.
So let's talk about this. If you a lot of times with Elizabethtown Police Department's social media, you all also list Hardin County CrimeStoppers numbers, saying if somebody has a tip, you can get.
Oh, sure. We promote that big. Again, it's just another avenue, another way. Of course, anyone that wants to talk to us can reach out to us directly by calling 765-4125, our main dispatch line. But if they're just not comfortable doing that, and I understand why you wouldn't be, then we always tag the CrimeStoppers and offer the CrimeStoppers route. You can give us the same exact information and even dialogue with us, as I said, because P3 Tips allows for CrimeStoppers to engage in conversation with the tipster, and then all that information is shared with us.
Something that we haven't actually mentioned, we also have a great relationship with the schools. Both the E-Town Independent and with Hardin County Schools.
And they are also on your board of
directors. They're on the board of directors. We get monthly reports from them when we have our meetings about, what's going on with the school system and stuff. And, it could be any kind of tip, like Chris said, anything that anybody has, call it in or send it in. They'll investigate and see what comes out of it.
And another great thing, I think a lot of times people are hesitant to call the police, not because they're afraid to reach out, but because they think, well, I just really don't know. I don't want to bother the police with that. First of all, if you have information that you think is pertinent or could be relevant, we encourage you to share it. Let us be the deciding factor in that. But if you feel like I don't want to tie up the dispatch line or whatever, this is a great way, a great avenue to share that. And then again, CrimeStoppers can forward that to investigators, and they can kind of sift through and see. So any tip could be the missing link, for a break in a case.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily a crime that has already occurred, but a crime that they've heard people discussing and talking about.
Sure. Yeah, you could be planning You could be privy to a conversation where someone's planning a burglary or a robbery or God forbid, even a homicide or something.
Active shooter.
Any of that, and you could reach out to Hardin County CrimeStoppers, and that information will be be afforded to law enforcement immediately.
Another thing too, we do have calls that come in that are for areas outside of Hardin County, and those are sent on to the right law enforcement.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always shared with the appropriate
it's
agency.
shared with the right agency.
Because when we start talking about crime, there's no boundaries.
There's no
That's right.
boundary.
And
no.
it's all tied together. It's a ring. It's all tied together. Multi counties.
And when you say multi-counties, with several cities in Hardin County, you all work very close together with the other law enforcement agencies, correct?
Well, of course, and again, that's the partnerships we have with those other agencies are, again, another, I attribute that to our success as well. I mean, it's just we're very networked, very connected, and really work with just true professionals, and really throughout the Commonwealth. I think we're very fortunate here.
We are.
To have the law enforcement. I'm excluding myself from that. Off the show, we were having a conversation that Bryce, when you did my job, that we weren't really police anymore, and I wholeheartedly subscribe to that. I'll take that and own it. But truly, the men and women who serve not only Livingston, Hardin County, but surrounding areas are nothing short of professionals.
Absolutely so. Want to talk just a little bit. You mentioned it at the forefront when we started. People are worried a lot of times when they give this information, do I truly remain anonymous? And Chris, I'm going to go to you on this. Tell folks how you truly remain anonymous. Like if I call in, I'm worried about you all are going to be able to trace my call. You all have got caller ID on your phone. You're going to know exactly who I am. Talk about this so we can put some of those worries to rest.
Yeah, sure. So Hardin County CrimeStoppers, their call taker, when they answer the phone, they don't even know who the caller is. The P3, when they're monitoring P3 tips, they don't know who the tipster is. Okay, the CrimeStoppers themselves, so there's no way they could share that with us because they don't even know themselves. But even in doing that, if Bryce Shoemate calls in, we're not going to take the name and put Bryce Shoemate in the system. The call taker is not going to do that. They're going to provide Bryce Shoemate with a ID number, and that is for here. From here on out, regarding this case, that will be your ID, and you will be instructed to follow up with the call taker or by visiting p3tips.com to just check the status of the investigation of the case. Should an arrest be made or a case closed as a result of your tip, that information will be passed along from the investigators to Hardin County CrimeStoppers. They'll update the system. And then when you call back and say, okay, they tell you that your case is solved as a result of your tip, you'll be given instructions to go to a local financial institution, go through the bank drive-thru, and you'll tell them that you're there to pick up a certain envelope number. And it's not just envelope 2, so not just anyone can come through and pick it up.
007.
No, it's not that easy to predict. But you'll drive through and you'll simply say, I'm here for envelope XXXXX, and they'll put it out the little tube at the drive-thru, and away you go. It's up to your discretion when you go. So when the call taker tells you, the tip, the payout, the board has voted, the payout's been made, you can go immediately. If you want to wait 3 days, if you want to wait 7 days, if you want to wait 9 days or 9 hours, you can go during bank hours. You can go whenever you want. So there's no way that law enforcement will be there waiting for you. And the clerks at the bank, they're not even aware of what they're doing. They just know that they've been instructed to, if so-and-so pulls up and says this is what you do.
So if it remains anonymous, tell us, how does CrimeStoppers notify the person that gave them the tip, or is it incumbent upon that person that gave the tip?
Yeah, it's incumbent upon the person who provided the tip to follow up. They have to follow up with either by visiting p3tips.com or again by calling in at 1-800-597-8123 and check the status of that, because
we don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to reach out.
That number.
If you wish to give your information, wish to provide your phone number, then they can reach out to you. But CrimeStoppers does not know your identity.
That's up to them.
That's up to them.
Right.
That's fully up to them, and you do not have to provide that.
Jody, let me ask you this: if business owners, if some of our large industry out here in Hardin County right now are looking at how do I become a partner, how do I contribute financially, is it tax deductible?
We are 501c3. So we are a nonprofit, so it would be tax deductible. And the easiest way to do it, you could just call me at the office. It's Jody Thompson at 270-765-0943. That's the Wolf number there.
And we'll put that down at the bottom of your screen. Is there also maybe an email that they could reach you?
Right, they could email me at Jody, Jodie, at WQXE.com.
Or I guess they could go to the CrimeStoppers
They could go
Facebook
to
page
Facebook and send a message. It will
E-Town
get to
Facebook
me
page.
or call.
And they can reach out to me, and
Yes.
I'll put them in contact with Jody. And I mean, look, we're glad
We're
glad
very easy, flexible on how to.
that's right.
That's Officer John Thomas at E-Town Police
right.
Department.
My nice hair.
Put the
That's how you
little
know.
crawl, John Thomas in the bottom.
But if people want to do this, how do they go about? I mean, do you have paperwork and so on that they fill out to do? How
This
do they
is
go
kind
about
of new
this?
to us, coming in and talking with you. We just recently came off of a board meeting Monday, right? I think it was Monday, and we know that.
I was there.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I
I'm like,
was.
it was
Yeah.
Monday.
I sent-
That's
I
right.
know,
You
John
were.
Thomas.
John
Yeah.
Thomas.
That's true, you did. We just know that the funds we have are not going to last. And this is for the entire county. And we want the community, the county, to buy into it the way that we do, because we know that it's such a valuable resource in so many different ways of stopping crime and finding people that, for different reasons. And so we would just like to ask for money to start off with, for people who believe in it the way that we do and want to buy into it. And it's whatever donation they can do. And it comes back. If you have a business or a neighborhood, if you want your neighborhood to stay safe or be safe, CrimeStoppers is a perfect way to help. And
so let me ask you this: if folks are able to do this, as far as making the contribution, will they receive maybe a call if you don't hear anything from our TV show today? Are you going to be sending mailers out, or maybe even calls, and so people will know that this is for real? It's
Yes.
not some scammer, not robocalling. It's truly this agency.
Yes, we are working on a letter or form now that we will start sending out to different businesses throughout the county to see who would be interested, and and then we can give you the forms or whatever you need to know that it was a tax deductible donation. But yes, we are starting to the process of reaching out, and we have a list of businesses that we're going to start reaching out to.
And from a law enforcement perspective, I would encourage to verify the authenticity of
Yes.
anyone soliciting
Yes.
anyone soliciting donations. So if speaking for Hardin County CrimeStoppers, we know that they're going to be soliciting donations, but please, if they're asking you to send those donations to any place other than the Wolf's radio station on West Dixie or perhaps the Elizabethtown Police Department, I would encourage you to phone either myself or Ms. Thompson and verify that, yes, in fact, it is a authentic solicitation in lieu of just sending it and hoping it's going to the right place.
We are just the kind of the facilitators
right.
of it. Anything contribution you make, it will go to Hardin County
That's right.
CrimeStoppers. It doesn't go to me, it
That's
doesn't
right.
go to Chris
That's right.
or anything like
Or
that.
Chris, if they even ask, can you come by and pick it up?
Sure, we'll arrange that.
Okay.
And I don't mind, again, just being a law enforcement liaison, I'm not going to go out and solicit donations.
Right.
That's probably not appropriate, but I'm gladly, if Jody calls me and says, hey, I need you to
go
run
out.
over here and pick it up, then I absolutely am glad
Because
to
I
do
think
that.
people would feel better if it's somebody coming in uniform
Sure.
or,
Yes.
it's
it's a
somebody
good
that
opportunity to-
identifies themselves as a police officer,
Right.
maybe to.
And it's a good opportunity, take a picture with the officer and put it on your social media
Yeah.
page and just
Absolutely.
and share that, and that might encourage other people to do the same as you have.
That is a great public relation tool to be able to reach out and help your community, and to be able to do that would be fabulous.
But we won't bring Bryce with us if you request that.
Yeah, Bryce doesn't wear a uniform anymore, so I mean,
You're good,
and
huh?
my hat's off to you all, Chris. We truly do, as a community, appreciate all that you all do. All of the police agencies that put your all's lives on the line every day to protect our community.
So we appreciate the support. It's unparalleled anywhere else in the country, I think.
So, Jody, this is going to start probably within the next month.
Yes, within the next month. We're working on getting everything lined out so we can start sending these. Most likely it's going to be an email. It'll have my information on there, and we'll put Chris's information on there too. And like I said, any donation would be checks or anything would go to Hardin County CrimeStoppers. And
it would be a address or a phone number that would be either WLF or WQXE or Elizabethtown Police
actually,
Department.
does it go to the city? Does it go to?
Comes to 300 South Mulberry Street.
There you
Right.
go. There you go.
At the police department
At
is
the
where
police
the
department.
So
mail would come.
again, if you all are a business, you're a corporation, even if you're just a citizen here in our county, and you would like to donate because this helps as many homeowners as it does businesses,
Absolutely.
correct, Chris? So if you're interested in that, it's a way to make sure that whoever commits these crimes are found, picked up, prosecuted, and made to pay for those crimes that they've committed. And this helps us. It's a tool. I like to kind of phrase that. It's a tool in our toolbox.
It is.
To help us in solving crimes.
I wish I had known about CrimeStoppers years ago. You know, there was a situation where we lived somewhere and there was a house and I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what to do about that information. Had I known about CrimeStoppers, that was something I could have, you know, set in a tip to and see where it came out of it. But you know, you just knew something was off, but you just didn't know. Sure. And that's what we want people to just feel comfortable to, you know, put the tips out there.
And it kind of goes back to a phrase that's been going on, a catchphrase for the last couple, 3 years. If you hear something, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
You know, and so this is definitely a way we as a community can not only say something, but we can also support the organization that's trying to help.
It gives you a platform. It gives you a voice.
It gives you a platform.
Absolutely. So again, Hardin County Crime Stoppers, those emails, those letters, those phone calls may be coming out, and folks will identify themselves. If you don't feel comfortable sending it in, mailing it in, and you feel more comfortable to have a uniformed police officer come out to pick up those donations, we will be glad to facilitate that so that can come out, whether it's Elizabethtown Police Department or one of the other law enforcement agencies here in our county that, you know, supports the area that you live in. We will be glad to send them out to pick up that, because this is a very worthwhile endeavor. Guys, is there anything in closing that we need to say about this with Crime Stoppers?
I mean, I feel like we've covered. I mean, it's just it's a valuable resource, and it's a wonderful partnership we had with them, and we would not be nearly as effective as we are without that.
And we want you all to know that this involvement with Crime Stoppers is with all the law enforcement agencies in our county. Chris just happens to be on the board with us and arranges to be able to talk to other law enforcement agencies in our county. So, you know, that's why Chris is here with us now. So we just want to make sure that they understand it's not an E-Town Police Department deal. It's actually affiliated with everybody.
All 6 local agencies benefit greatly from it.
Yes. Well, thank you all for your time. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. I knew when we started talking, Chris and Jody, that our time would go by fast. So they've told us our time is up. And so thank you all for all that you do in our community and helping us out. And we want to thank Bill for the donation from Quixie and Wolf.
Being such a big supporter. I mean, really, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you all for joining us here on Hardin County Education and Community TV, where we try to keep you informed on everything that's going on in this big community that we call Hardin, but more importantly, what's going on in your students' life in the Hardin County school system. Stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date. Enjoy this summer. We've got several activities going on out throughout Hardin County, Elizabethtown, Vine Grove, Radcliffe, all over. So make sure that you enjoy the summertime and go to those activities. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you next time here on Hardin County Education and Community TV.